at Miami University in Oxford, Ohio, and he was a field organizer on Barack Obama's presidential campaign and field director in the 2010 House race. And he was with Barack Obama from the beginning, before he was even a state senator. So,
he was a state senator.
Oh, he was at that point. Yeah. Well, anyway, he has awesome stories to tell. Okay. And then Grace Morris is a national campaign organizer on corporate accountability. He's a national campaign organizer on Corporate Accountability International's campaign challenging corporate control of water. Grace works with student and community activists around the country to promote universal democratic access to water, to protect community water rights, and to challenge water privatization. Grace started organizing in New Orleans, Louisiana, where she worked for the Gulf Restoration Network on coastal wetlands restoration, ocean policy, and GRN's public outreach campaigns. So thank you both.
Thank you. Can everyone hear me? Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right, so we are going to talk about power mapping, which we realize doesn't really work as a discussion. We kind of have to do it. Power mapping is a process. So we're going to do the process. So first, does anyone, and there's definitely some more guys in the room. Who knows what power mapping is? What is power mapping?
We can't hear you.
You can't hear me. All right. Okay. We'll do it by show of hands. How many folks have heard of power mapping? All right, great. What's power mapping? Yes.
It's like mapping out the nodes of power in your community so you can better identify your targets and plan the strategy for a campaign.
Yep, it's definitely about visualizing the different power influences and structures that you're dealing with, absolutely. So power mapping is a process. This is not a way of planning a campaign. At the end here, I'll wrap up with some pitfalls of power mapping. Power mapping is a lot of fun. So this is something you do when you already have a campaign, you have a target. The most important part of power mapping is that you start with a target. So I'm going to explain what this visual is. And there's different ways to do this visual. So the best way to work through this and really understand power mapping and its potential is for us to actually have a campaign. And we're not going to choose anyone's specific campaign today, unless you come to my breakout session, in which we will power map your campaign. But this is a process, and it's a way of visualizing all of the different ways that your target, the decision maker who can make the decision that will win your campaign, that will give you what you want, what their influences are. And this is a great way to analyze where your group and your people can influence that decision maker and figure out how you should best use your resources and where you should apply leverage and apply pressure. So the basic steps are this. So we need a target. So first, we need a target. So we already have a campaign, and because it's Citizens United, we should definitely stick to the idea that we want to pass a resolution or a constitutional amendment. My suggestions are that we work with at the city council level, or we work at or with the mayor. The mayor's our target, or the president of the city council, or perhaps the Senate majority leader. What level should we choose?
City council, town level.
Town. That was mostly town. Okay, great. So city council. City council is still a little broad, so we're going to narrow it down to, we want to focus on a specific city council person.
City council president.
I like it. City council president. All right, excellent. So when you do power mapping, you ask yourself, who influences our targets? The city council president, in this case, we're choosing them presumably because they have the most power. If they agree with us on the issue of the city council passing a resolution, calling on Congress to create a constitutional amendment, we are going to get that resolution. So we need to figure out who influences, all of the influences of the city council president, and then are those influences with us, or are they with the other side?
So should we first list them out and then we can decide where to put them?
Well, I think we can brainstorm as we go. But yeah, so you see Patrick's the positive side. Those are the people that are with us, and then the negative side are the people who are against us, which we might decide that we can convince them to be on our side. And then the rings are the extent of their influence. So if they're really close into the target, they have a huge amount of influence. If they are on the periphery, they do not have as much influence. This will all become more clear as we go through this process together. So we have our city council president. What are some influences?
So before we start, just know that you guys were kind of quiet when she asked questions before, but this isn't going to work unless this is like the price is right. The price is right. So if you have to stand up and shake off your cobwebs a little from earlier on, do that now, because we need your participation here. So we're gonna announce things. You're gonna tell us if you think that that's a positive influence or a negative influence. And I'm gonna need you to shout closer or farther away, and we're gonna just have to crowdsource to figure out where we want to put things. So I need your participation.
Awesome.
Okay. For support, 1,000-name petition from people in his district, or the district of his influence. Number two, how about his wife?
Okay, cool. All right, so we got two things there, and then all right. So that was citizen activists. And where do you want to put that? What ring?
Wife would be close, I would imagine.
Well, wife is different. Oh, well, is wife on our? Is she on our side or is she against us?
Immediate family, not just wife.
All right, immediate family. Well, are they?
Well, I drew a female city council president, so.
All right, husband.
This isn't. They're with us. This is. They're against us. We're gonna have to convince them. This is their neutral. They're kind of like. They're just on the fence.
So let's start with family. Where
So where do you want to put family?
Neutral.
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 All right.
Neutral but close.
Yeah. All right. And then we had citizen activists. Where should that go on the rings?
One in from the periphery.
All right, I like it.
Yeah. Anyone have a problem with this?
You
Good?
should number the circles.
All right.
Well, we'll come back to it. We're going to come back and you guys, this can change. Usually, you do this in pencil when you're doing this on your own, and this will change. We just want to, and we'll come back and discuss this, but we want to create a solar system first.
Well, citizen activists can be for and against. They can
That's
be
a good
both.
point.
All right, so let's
And you can have varying degrees of
the public or it could be either. Totally.
Donors to his campaign for city council president, or city council.
Inner circle?
Well, we don't know where they're at. We don't know who they are.
Well, if they're close and if they're the donors, they probably want to continue to be able to keep donating, right? So they're probably...
They're in the inner circle for sure. I'm just not sure if they're positive or negative.
We don't know who they are yet. Great. So inner circle on the line. Yeah.
Other council members?
Other council members, yeah, that's probably...
Where do you want to put them?
I would say they're pretty close in, maybe in the first or second circle. And because it's hypothetical, I don't know if they're positive or negative, but...
Alright, cool. So on maybe both sides, inner circle. So some are positive, some are negative.
Yep.
Yeah.
Large employers in the area, in the community.
All right, excellent. I think we should distinguish a little bit. So are there large employers that are with us and large employers that are against us? Just so we...
It's whichever.
Yeah. Okay, so...
I mean, I would say...
let's say negative. Usually corporations,
Yeah,
they're probably pretty strongly against us.
Yeah, but small businesses might be for it.
So let's say big corporations down here.
Yeah.
And
I like it.
businesses.
Sounds good. Sorry, sir, you in the blue shirt.
I was going to say the Chamber of Commerce.
Chamber of Commerce. Against us. And then outer influence or very influential?
Influential.
Yeah. Chamber of Commerce.
How influential do we think they are?
High.
High?
the Globe and the Herald as two separate things.
Nice.
I think that they're both fairly close, and I'm going to say the Herald is definitely on the negative. We can debate where the Globe is.
I would add to that actually that it's the editing of the Herald, the directive of the Herald that's on the
Definitely. So I mean, we'll call that for all purposes the Globe and the Herald. So the Herald is negative.
I would say, and tell me if you guys disagree, that while that's a negative influence, probably not a huge one. People think that the people really
Well,
care.
it's more influence on the person though, which
Yeah.
is probably. Did you say high? High influence or?
Compared to some of these other ones. Keep in mind it's a comparative chart, so.
Yeah.
Mainstream
maybe not as
media,
much as
highly
white.
influenced.
The Herald is outer negative, and then we'll just put the Globe neutral.
Yeah.
Neutral and probably pretty.
They're a liberal newspaper.
And I'm going to do the political thing and put them outside of the family. 'Cause I hope that the family's more influential than the Globe.
Yeah.
Well, right up there with the family would be Mayor Menino.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
So the mayor?
Yeah, but he's less powerful.
Oh, the mayor.
The mayor of Boston, yeah.
Yeah,
Or-
but the
or
mayor's
of
kinda
any
totally
city.
outside of the circle. I mean, the mayor is a higher degree of power than the city council.
Well, but the question is, if the mayor calls their city council president,
Yeah.
is that going to be a call they'll take, and is that an influential call?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, so
Let's hope the mayor's on our side.
let's hope the mayor is here.
Yeah.
The city council president usually has larger political ambitions, so maybe the political party that they identify with, they're going to need that sort of campaign support if they want to run for a higher office.
Where do you think that would go?
Did everyone hear that?
The question was, where does their person's political party come in? Because he or she might have aspirations to higher office.
Right. So probably negative.
Depends on the party. Yeah, probably negative.
Probably negative.
Yeah.
All right. So the political party influence of the up and ups, the higher ups. Wait, folks with the laptops, did you guys have something? No? Okay. Yeah.
The college students.
College students. Sure, absolutely.
Probably not very influential, but on the higher side.
So we're not counting college students as citizen activists? Different category.
Where do we want to put Occupy?
Well, I think citizen activist is pretty broad. Great.
Yeah, it's pretty broad.
Unions?
Unions.
Well, in particular, and I don't know where you put this, but police unions can be pretty powerful.
Yeah.
Fire.
I mean, I think it all comes
Cool.
under
Yeah, definitely. Unions.
public sector employees. Yeah.
Bank chair people?
Yep. Donors, Chamber of Commerce, bank chair people, big corporations probably captures some of that.
people who work for his campaign.
And they're probably pushing him to be a little bit more of an activist.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so we've got government players, we have business players, the media.
More like two questions. City employees, is that something they union?
I think we could call it that, or we could call it something.
It could be its own thing.
The question was, are city employees covered under unions, or do we want to make a separate circle for that?
No, they are.
They are?
And what about students, is that really representing their activities?
Oh yeah, college students, which I think we can expand to plus.
Yeah, I mean, let's throw city employees out.
I would say that they're probably less influential just because they need to get their voter numbers up first before they become influential. Yeah.
Important social groups do the individual in question. So, like, let's pretend they have a church congregation.
Their church.
So it's close to them, maybe the first or second, on the border of the first and second.
Do you think positive or negative?
Positive.
Positive.
Spiritual leaders there.
right, that was the city council president's church. Putting them positive. Other influences?
I have a lot.
It's a good list.
Their conscience.
All right, experts. Experts.
But way not mine.
I mean, experts, or like that they'll make their decision kind of thing based on the facts. Advisors? Advisors?
Think tanks, policy.
Yeah, so maybe
Advisors, policy groups, which
negative or positive?
probably a little bit of both, yeah.
How about nonprofits?
Very popular, outspoken sports figures.
Yeah. Do you have someone in mind?
Kurt Schilling.
So do we think the Red Sox are positive or negative in campaign finance?
Well, right now it's a negative.
So maybe so negative, and then also like VIPs or celebrities that are. Do some both sides. Yep.
I'm sorry?
Yeah.
Their opponents and other candidates.
Yeah, so maybe a negative drive on their decision is fear of their opponent.
Well, or how much influence does it have? Is it a positive influence, or a negative influence? If we can, probably we can use, it could be either.
Yeah, it's a little ambiguous.
Voters? Voters? Yeah, I don't know if that goes under citizens. No, I mean, we only have citizen activists, so I'd say the general public. Yeah, both sides.
Well, no, Lessig showed us unequivocally they're positive.
The polls are on our side, the poll numbers. Yeah, definitely. Okay, so, looking at these steps, we've done steps 1 and 2. So we've brainstormed all the influences on our decision maker, and we can continue to add these up. And then we've decided the extent of their influence. And again, this is something that can change. Final thing to do is to figure out where we put our pressure. So this decision maker has the power. The reason that we've chosen them as the target is because their decision will win our campaign.
And so what Grace means by that is, we identified that family is someone that's very, very close to the president and is a big part of their decision. But a campaign of intimidating their family and pressuring them probably won't work. So just because something is very influential doesn't mean it's a good target. So, I definitely think family wouldn't be a good one, but what would be the thing that we want to go after? Yeah.
Find out the things that are important to them.
To them? Yeah. Well, that's what this is supposed to be, is that...
Find out what their wife
Absolutely. All right, so then you can power map all of these things.
That would be a different
So then they can be your own target and figure out how to get them on your side. So the big questions we want to think about, though, is what kind of resources and what are the strengths of our group or our organization? What are our levels of access with these different players? And considering our limited amount of resources, the level of access that we and our group has with these different influences, how should we spend our campaign resources and our effort and our time influencing who? And it could be, we could influence someone who's on the negative side, that we're able to have a brilliant campaign strategy to get them to be on our side. Or it could just be that we take the people that are already with us and really leverage that to the point where it's going to influence the decision maker to make the right decision.
Can you find out who their donors are?
Yes.
How?
You can go to opensecrets.org or a variety of other websites. They have to disclose their donors, so you can actually make that list. That's all freely available information. Unless our city council president has a super PAC, in which case it might get trickier.
Can I ask that you guys use the microphones just so that people...
Oh, sure.
Yeah, sorry.
Does this work? No. Hello?
Yes.
Okay, sorry about that, folks.
But also, you don't have to hold it super close.
Great. How's that?
The people in the back here?
Yes.
Okay,
Great.
so the point of this visual is to map out all of these influences, and then we can decide. So in this case, who do you think we should definitely use resources for? Like, let's say we can choose 3. All right, so we're going to choose to use our campaign resources to choose 3 of these to influence the decision maker. What 3 do we choose?
Yeah, let's try and get more citizen activists who support us to tell the city council president that he should do this.
All right.
Okay, so we want to enlarge that circle, the citizen activists.
Who agrees? Here we go. Agreement? Okay. So, all right, let's start the citizen activists. Yeah, I mean, you get hundreds of people into a public hearing, generate tons of testimony, and hopefully they're gonna see the public support.
The mayor on our side, because he's close to influencing. He's with us.
Okay, so the mayor, do we agree that the mayor is a key one? Sort of? Lukewarm? No?
Yeah, all right, there's some support. So part of this is, can we get the mayor on our side? In this case, is the mayor on our side?
Mayor is already on our side.
Oh, then.
If he's on our side,
If he's on our side, sure. If he wasn't on our side, it might be, we might not be able to get the mayor on our side in other cases, in which case we might want to use our resources differently. So
Yeah, so the situation with the mayor here is that we've already decided that the mayor is on our side and is very close in influence. That's debatable, but in this case, the discussion we're having is which of these resources are the ones that are most effective to leverage, and if we think that the mayor agrees with us and is very influential, then getting the mayor to do a direct message to our city council president is very effective.
Okay.
Can I get a clarification here? Sorry, I'm completely lost in track of this. Is this Boston, and are we occupied with?
This is just an example because power mapping is a process. So you have to have a target, and you can use this tool for any campaign and for your target of your campaign. So if you are an environmentalist and you're taking on a coal company, you can put the corporation in the middle and power map from there. This can be used for a corporate target, a politician, whoever has the power to make the decision. So for example, I work on a campaign challenging corporate control of water, and Pepsi is one of our huge targets. They're one of the largest bottlers of water in the world. So Indra Nooyi, their CEO, is one of our targets, and we would power map her, essentially.
I think the media, I mean, like the Boston Globe and the Herald, I think.
All right.
Yeah, they're probably, the media was the suggestion, so do we think they're movable? Whether or not they're on our side, they're definitely something where our activity can influence them.
And if they're on our side, we should advocate that they push the issue even harder.
All right. Media?
So who are you trying to influence to do what?
We're trying to, so this will give you an idea of where you should put your resources and your people
Are we talking about the mayor of Boston?
We're talking about the city council president. We're trying to influence the city council president to be supportive of a resolution to call on Congress for a constitutional amendment that we're all talking about here. This can be used for any campaign.
Mayor of Malta.
Yeah, could be a small town, could be a big town. The idea is to visualize the process.
All right, so I think we're going to wrap up here. Are there any, I want to go into like a quick debrief on this process, but are there any questions that have come up? A couple of things to remember. You need a target. You need a person in the middle who can have the power to make a decision. So that's who you power map. And then you're deciding who influences them, how much influence do they have on our decision maker, and then what campaign resources should we utilize in order to win over those influences to move our campaign forward.
I have a question. Can we power map an issue? Because I mean, I think the question is like, is this the right target for this campaign? Like, is the president the right target, or is there just is the president already on our side? And like,
it's a great question. I definitely know what you're saying. So, how do you find out the right target to put in your power map? That is campaign strategy. So this is not a campaign strategy tool. When you design a campaign, you would think about what's the goal of the campaign, what's the long-term goal, what's the short-term goal, who has the power to make that decision to win our campaign, and then what are our resources. And that campaign strategy is a much more complex and it's a longer process. And it includes goals and allies and resources and identifying the target. It's a huge part of campaign strategy. Power mapping is not forming a campaign strategy. This is after you already have your target, you already have your goal, you know who can make sure your goal becomes a reality. And this is how you decide how to effectively and efficiently utilize your resources.
Can you say profile question?
All right, excellent. So now we can go to breakout sessions. I'm actually running a breakout session on power mapping. We can power map your campaign and talk about this more if you're interested.
So the power map is a point in time, and so the other strategy would be like a road map. Is that what you're saying? So like this is a point in time relative to his question?
This is to help you, I mean, this can be used to help further your strategy and have better strategy about approaching your target. Absolutely.
So again, thanks to both of you for leading the session. I think it was really great. So what's going to happen now is I think it would be good to take like a little, well, can I get a temperature check? I guess I don't know if people would like to take a little bit of a break now. Temperature check means go like that. Or, well, if you like the idea. Okay, so we're going to take a 10-minute break. And at the end of 10 minutes, I'm going to have all the people that would like to lead a breakout session, again, come up and announce their breakout session and the title. And that will be followed by a skit. So, okay, so again, 10 minutes and then meet back for breakout session.
Thank you.